It was summer of 2000. I saw a big log in the backyard and decided to carve a lion out of it. Before that, I had already done some works, but not in that size. And when I began, I noticed that the log had cracks on both sides. It had to be cut so that the middle part could be used. So we started cutting it with my backyard friends, and that process turned into an event. After that, when I started working on that lion, all people were coming and asking me what went on. When it was ready, I brought it down to the backyard and I saw the excitement and attitude of those people. That was, so to say, my first solo exhibition. I remember my first visit to the foundry. I had given my sculpture for casting and people at the foundry told me they felt it. I went to the foundry and I was very excited. It was an unknown thing for me, how your idea will be reformed into bronze. They noticed my impatience. I told them, let's unlock that cast and see what happened to it. They told me, no, we have just filled it and it will be damaged if we open it now. Some time passed and they saw I'm very impatient, so they said, open his cast. When they hit that cast, which was entirely sandy, I saw through the pieces of sand the bronze and I instantly approached and took it. They screamed out, it is hot. I dropped it from my hand, but it was too late. I had already held the hot piece of bronze. After graduation, you appear in very interesting but all in all in an uncertain situation. Because first of all, your professors are not with you to say what is good and what is bad. Your classmates are not with you who also guide you in a different way, which differs from the professor's guidance. In my case, after graduation, I went to Moscow straight away and my daily impressions from the neighborhood I was staying in were recreated in small-size sculptures which I hang down from the ceiling. After that, when I already came back, I cast them, and one piece of this series of sculptures is cardiogram. As they were a continuation of the same feeling, I placed them on the cardiogram. Everything depends on the lines which signify heartbeats. All life is in its ups and downs, and though both make us feel anxious, nonetheless, when it becomes a strict line, death will be attested. One of the most interesting aspects of sculpture is the diversity of its stages. Because even if in painting or in any type of fine arts, they make different types of work. Anyway, they make it in the same way. The painter sits in front of an easel and paints on the canvas with oil paint. Meanwhile, it's quite interesting in the sculpture. Your artistic process is over in a plasticine or in a clay form. After that come those technical stages, as how it turns into some material like stone or bronze in the end. Those technical differences are the stages that allow the sculpture to stay always fresh. Because for an artist, repeating what has already been made is a rather painful process. And here it is interesting because when you finish working with plasticine comes time for making a plaster cast from it, which is totally other work. It districts you, so to say, cuts you off from that state. When you get bored with the plaster, comes time for wax filling and you work with wax. Those are absolutely different types of work, having nothing in common. The only link between them is your idea, the same artwork in different material. Then you give a wax form to the foundry and receive your work in bronze, which is an absolutely different from plasticine, plaster and wax material. And in each stage of this process, by seeing your artwork in a different material, you move to totally other space where you can see your artwork from a different perspective. What you started with and what it has transformed into. All this process allows you to stay always fresh, your imagination to be active and its manifestations to be expressed. After working with bronze, when we take it from the foundry, comes the treatment process. After that, it is time for a patination, which is quite an unpredictable phenomenon. Because we hit the metal and with special oxidizing chemicals try to erode the external surface. It is unpredictable because firstly it depends on the thickness of a metal, then on the composition of a chemical. But all this is not important for the art piece, since if a patina does not go well, when the entire work, which you have carried out with thoroughness and have executed up to that point, can be entirely ruined just because of a bad patina and will not become what you have imagined. And the opposite, the work with an average execution quality can be leveled up by the well-done patina. But in my opinion, the guiding factor in all that is the artist's attitude. Because if there won't be such an attitude, love towards your work, patina is not done in one try, and how many times you will make it depends on your attitude towards your work. I received a very interesting offer from Antiken Gallery, which is in Yerevan, in 2017 for exhibiting art pieces, cardiogram, summer, process abroad. It was a very interesting moment when we were standing in plain ground and the architect said that he imagined that cardiogram would be here and the circle here and the work with rope here somewhere. Actually, we had very short time, only 2 months, to make these 3 to 5 meters high artworks. When you start making a sculpture in smaller size, everything turns out to be good, and when you try to make it bigger, you have to make changes because every sentence pronounced in whisper to the ear is impossible to compare to the one said in the microphone to the stadium. The owner of a small gallery in Paris organized my solo exhibition there, and some days after that exhibition, I was walking around that gallery. It's a special moment when all your art pieces are shown in one place. In the evening, I reached that gallery's vitrine glass, and I have noticed that one man standing in front of it and hitting it. I approached him asking what he is doing, and he said, "I want to break it and take that statue from there." I asked him, but why he wanted that? And he answered, because he liked it so much and he is leaving the city that night, so the only thing he could do was to break the vitrine and took the statue with him. These kind of things mean more than written articles or words of praise or disapproval said by your colleagues. And you are granted absolutely other level of responsibility to manage to keep yourself, your thoughts, your imagination so pure, so tasteful and well developed that you can transform all the information received from God. The way that the person who doesn't know you can perceive so purely the information and to be able to feel that emotion, to do something she wouldn't imagine them doing.
Որ ինքը այնպիսի արարքներ թույլ տա, որ ինքն էլ չի պատկերացնի իրենից։ 2019 թվականին Լոնդոնի գալերիայի
In 2019, by the London Modern Art Gallery initiative, we have received an invitation to take part in the international sculpture exhibition held in the park of the city of Etretat in Normandy. We transported 2 works there and there was a serious problem with the placement of one of them, since wherever we placed it, it felt lost in the space. And they decided to place it on the highest point of the city where people come to have a view of the seascape and of the city. The sculpture, which is displayed in an open air, has absolutely other sounding from the one shown in an inner space. And the difference is not related to its size. The one shown in an open air can be 2 meters high and the one in a closed space can be 5 meters, but it's in play with air, with sun, that it becomes totally different thing. What is interesting that your work is being estranged from you. When you walk by and work is displayed in an open air, you only consciously realize that it is made by you, just by your memory. You approach it remembering how you worked on each part, but when the work is properly placed, somehow it merges with its surrounding and you are left out of it. When I was in United States, I was making some sketches there, and when one gallerist saw my work and he was interested in it, saying that he will organize my solo exhibition.
Ասաց շատ հետաքրքիր են, ես շատ մեծ սիրով կկազմակերպեմ անհատական ցուցահանդեսը։
They told me not to come and they made everything themselves. So when I came in, I saw my name and surname written in the bold letters. All my graphic works were exhibited next to each other. First thing I asked him was why my name is written in capital letters, and he said it is the way they do it here. Exhibitions are held in this manner here. I thought we also do, but not in that scale. There I understood that things made even for relaxation can have other sounding when you are able to treat it with an attitude. I have received an email from UNESCO's office. They were asking my permission for printing the photo of my work, Eternity, in the article devoted to Hovannes Tumanyan in one magazine. You open the magazine and see your work next to the article about Hovannes Tumanyan. After that, all things like how they found it out becomes insignificant. The most important to me is the combination of the line and form. It is kind of talk in the composition. My challenge is to find the conversation that will be pleasant to listen by viewer.